Previously on From. Season 4 began with the arrival, and the town was hit with a wave of fear, grief, and confusion in the aftermath of Jim's death. New faces arrived, old questions grew even darker, and the sense that something bigger was moving behind the scenes became impossible to ignore. Boyd and Kenny were pulled deeper into the terror. The danger in the caves became even more real, and the town once again found itself bracing for what might come next. Then in episode 2, Frey, the pressure only got worse. A gruesome discovery sent shockwaves through the town, forcing everyone to confront just how fragile their situation really is. Jade and Tabitha were left wrestling with the weight of what they uncovered, while the mystery surrounding the town continued to tighten its grip. Fear, uncertainty, and a search for answers pushed everyone closer to the edge. Now, with tensions rising, questions multiplying, and the truth still just out of reach, we move into episode 3, Merrily We Go, where the stakes get even higher, and the road ahead looks more dangerous than ever. Welcome to Talking From, the live podcast produced by Indy Radio, where we break down the mystery, the terror, and the twists of the hit TV series. Hosted by Jen and Kinte, this is the show where we review every shocking moment, every haunting question, and every chilling clue. And From, strangers find themselves trapped in a mysterious town they cannot leave, forced to survive against deadly creatures that come out at night, while uncovering the dark secrets hidden all around them. You can watch From on MGM+. Get ready for live reactions, deep discussion, bold theories, and real talk about one of television's most unsettling shows. And now, here are your hosts, Jen and Kinte.
All right, welcome everyone to an all-new episode of Talking From. Today we have on tap Season 4, Episode 3, Merrily We Go. I have a bunch of questions, and I think that the right person as my co-host is right beside me to help answer them, so I will introduce Kinte. Kinte, how are you today?
I'm doing fine. How are you doing?
I look forward, real talk, I look forward to From, all week. Like from Sunday to Sunday, I'm thinking about and looking forward to what's going to happen. I've had crazy theories. I've had really odd ideas about characters. Some have been ridiculous. Some have kind of shown a little bit of something. And for all of my love of this show, I am starting to feel that same level of we are not really getting anywhere. I mean, we are getting somewhere, but we're not getting anywhere. Does that make sense to you? And do you feel the same?
I do. I feel quite the same. I feel like the next episode, I don't want to jump too far ahead. I feel like that's going to be the one that gives us a lot just by the title and kind of how everything's setting up.
Okay, well, let's talk about this episode and let's kind of get into, I'll tell you why I get frustrated by the storytelling. And don't get me wrong, this is by no means a criticism of the show. I love the show. But I am really frustrated by some things in the way that they tell the story. And I think one of them is not necessarily that things are slow, it's the disjointed methodology of storytelling. And look, in a story where there are so many characters, I don't know if you can ever get around that, but I never feel like we honestly get anywhere with any character pairing. We never really get someplace. And I think that that's why I get so frustrated by it, because every time I think, okay, well, maybe there's a little bit of an answer here, we not only jump over to a different character, but all of a sudden the storyline changes, and maybe that's purposeful, but man, is it ever frustrating. I don't know. I just wanted to hear what somebody else had to say about whether they thought that the storytelling was like purposefully slow and just this is awesome, or whether it is frustrating to them as well.
Well, I felt like this episode they focused on a lot of characters,
They did.
and I think maybe it's to signal that we're gonna be more narrow going forward on in a couple of episodes. So this was one they wanted to get in a lot of people because it seems like they gave a lot of people their moments for this particular one. And so, I actually enjoyed this episode. I thought it was pretty good. It was
Yeah,
a
I
lot
did too.
going on. It was a lot going on. They posed a lot of questions. Of course, no answers really, but I think they set up things pretty nicely for our good old friend in the pea suit.
Yes, and I have a number of ideas here to throw out. So let's just sort of start at the beginning, I guess. Um, with okay, we know is that sort of the very start of the episode is kind of coming to reckon again with Sophia and her dad and the death and Acosta going crazy and Boyd needing to sort of deal with that because she reminds him so much of Abby and things like that. Um, and all of that is great. And again, you know, the I'm really struggling with this one. I think I'm struggling with it because in order
I
to
hate to
tell
I hate to do this on air. Just keep talking. I just got to close my door, but I can
oh
still
no, no
I'm
problem.
following you. I
I,
just can't speak for a second.
I promise I won't ask you to give me a dissertation on your
All right,
actual view
just
of your
keep
favorite
one
character.
second. All right. I'll
Um,
keep talking.
I think part of the reason that this has me so tripped up is there's a lot to get through in this episode. There's a lot of really interesting ideas, a lot of very cool storytelling and narrative moments that have happened here. And I'm not sure where we are supposed to go with this. And I think maybe one of the biggest aspects of this episode is sort of there's a more somber feel to this episode. There's a lot less other than um, Fatima going out to the rage cars. There's a lot less like over the top emotion, and there's a lot of very serious questions and sort of somber emotions. And I think maybe a good place to start is with the man in yellow and Sophia. Uh, are you back? No, he's not back yet. Okay, so
Yes, I'm back. I'm sorry.
okay.
I was gonna let you know when I was back.
Tell me what. First of all,
Uh-huh.
let's just talk first about before we get to Boyd and Acosta. Let's just talk a little bit about the man in yellow, Sophia, and the idea of her pulling out the tooth from what would be Sophia's dad. What did you think that was all about?
Um, there we go. Sorry, I wanted to have the image there. it seemed like she was he she or I don't even know what to call.
They
We'll just say she, because when it's in that form,
okay.
she was taking out a keepsake a uh, of a victory, or a, you know, like a serial killer keeps a memento.
Yeah, you think this is a trophy?
Yeah, a trophy. Thank you. Yeah, it felt like that. I mean, that's what it kind of felt like, because she said something to that effect, didn't she?
Yes, and yet it just, I don't know, something about that seemed very odd. Like what, like is there something to that? Am I missing some ritual trope that that I haven't come into contact with about taking teeth as a method to prevent rebirth, or a way to keep somebody from coming back because maybe that interferes with the plan? Because remember, in From, we have people who are sort of our, let's just call them our central cast of characters who
Hmm.
seem to have the deepest connection to the town. But then we have a bunch of other people that kind of come in on the peripheral edge. And I'm sorry to all of these poor people who are the those people, but they seem like they are food for the monsters that then come out at night. Like it just feels like that's them. So if all of those people are kind of those types of people, maybe this person who was supposed to come into the town via Sophia's dad was actually important to the story, and he's like trying to prevent them from coming back or something. I don't know. Something about that just made me think like it was important enough for her to take the tooth so that something else doesn't happen. Or conversely, take the tooth so that he had something like he has of Sophia's so that he could come back as that person.
It seemed to me like it was gloating.
That, I mean, that could be too, but what would the purpose of the man in yellow's gloating be?
Well, we don't really know what his true intent is, or actually what he actually is. And I saw an interview with Harold Perrineau where he was saying, whatever you think he is, he's 10 times worse than that. So, you
Okay.
know, so I don't know, like, um, but it just seemed like he takes great glee in what he's doing. He's very devilish. So
Do
I'm
we think
really interested in where this is going. And I feel like they won't really know, that the man in yellow is Sophia probably till the end of the season.
right?
So I hope in the last season we see him in his true form, wreaking wreaking havoc more,
Well,
and they're about to realize that some of the people are not who they think they are. you know.
yes. Well, and I think we saw again, this is even though Sophia played kind of a minor role in the actual show itself, her actions and what she has done sort of set the entire stage for everything that happens in this episode. Because when they are burying Jim and Sophia's dad, a couple of things. Well, we'll go through that. I guess let's go through the actual funeral. So the funeral happens, and the funeral is kind of a co-funeral for both Sophia's dad and, of course, Jim. And I'm assuming that most people in the town would have showed up for Jim's funeral, but not. I'm sure not everybody would, because I can't imagine that scene that we get is everybody in the town. Um, and so Boyd starts to say something, and the crows show up. And I found that so fascinating because of course we haven't really seen the crows appear except for like little tiny things, um since we only see them when people actually come into the town or when something really major is about to happen. So what do you do? I have a theory on this, but what did you think of it? Did you think anything of it?
At first, I thought it was just some real eerie stuff, but then when Julie says it seems as if they were celebrating her
Mhm.
father's death, and I was like, it kind of did. It's
Yeah.
like it showed up, like once again, gloating, you know,
And
because
what do you call
remember,
a
Jim was
collection
the
of
first
crows?
one to make contact with, I don't want to say the outside or with, you know what I'm saying?
That was most certainly the man in yellow. He most certainly was talking to the man in yellow. You're
Right.
talking about the tower.
Right.
Yes, that
And
was
we got
most
the
certainly the
warning, you
man in
know,
yellow. Yeah.
and then look how he went, you know?
Yeah.
So I don't know, maybe the crow. I wonder though, animals in general on the show, uh, are they what they are supposed to be? You know,
I don't know.
like remember, I think there was a dog, right?
There has definitely been a dog that has sort of not aided Boyd, but been around whenever Boyd was in the woods. There was that
Right.
dog.
And then there was a dog, there was the cows. I wonder if there's more significance with the animals in this town as well than we even realize. Or am I just on mushrooms right now?
No, I think you might actually be right. And what I was mentioning before was, what do you call a group of crows when they all get together like that? You call it a murder of crows.
Oh, that's true, right.
Yeah. So
Oh, I
I
thought
mean,
you were
like,
gonna do a joke.
no, I'm
Okay.
serious. Like that actually,
No,
I
the way
felt.
you set it up was like you were about to do a joke.
What I joke about from never.
Yeah, I was like, all right, I was getting the rim shot ready. I was like, oh, okay, she's about to do a joke, and then
No, I absolutely think that Julie was kind of onto something with the yes. It does seem like they are celebrating the murder of Jim. It felt very purposeful. Um, or maybe they were celebrating with the man in yellow at the murder of, instead of Jim at all. Maybe it was just, hey, good job, man in yellow. See what you did. Murdered this guy.
you know a scene I want to watch again,
What's
and
that?
you probably seen it again, is the scene where Sophia was outside and Kenny came and quote unquote,
Yeah.
I'm doing air quotes, saved,
Yes.
because I'm trying to remember what was her interaction with the monsters. Do you remember?
She didn't actually have any interaction that we know of,
Right.
because we didn't see it. We are only seeing things from Kenny's eyes as he walks out of the clinic and into the night. And then they are coming out of the forest, which is what they usually do at night, and he kind of, saves them, or saves Sophia. Because of course the monsters don't run. They just move in this sort of very purposeful way that is, we're eventually going to get you. We have all the time in the world. I think that's one of the most, I think I've said this before, it's one of the most scary things about the creatures is that they are 100% patient behind their intent. They have zero purpose to be hurried or rushed. They know that these people are stuck. And that is super creepy. So
Yeah.
creepy. So, okay.
All the time in the world.
Let's just talk real briefly about the title of this episode. The title of this episode is called Merrily We Go. And I don't know exactly why, but I feel like this is a part of a refrain, like it's a part of something that it feels like a part of a song that's the cycle for, like, the when the refrain comes around, then that's the cycle. But this only feels like half of that, and I'm not exactly sure why, but that's what did you think of the title?
I think it's because so many journeys are seemingly starting up, right? You have a group that's looking for the books. You have a group that is looking for the Lake of Tears. You have a group that's looking for the tree. You also have the Rage Room is looking at, I'm like, it's like all these people are looking for something. And so I feel like that's possibly where we get the title Merrily We Go is to signify um, everyone's, searching for something.
Hmm. I think that is actually exquisitely true. Everybody is searching for something in this episode.
Yeah, they're starting to like a quest.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Honestly, look, they've been on many quests so far. It's getting onto, and this is why I think the boy in white is, yes, tongue in cheek. You're asking the wrong questions, of course, is aimed at the audience, but also that statement, you're asking the wrong questions, is why they can't get anywhere. They're asking the wrong questions. He said, you're so close, but you're stuck because you're not asking the right questions. And I think that is very true. For as many quests as they've started out on, they are absolutely gathering information, but they are not gathering the right information because they just can't quite get there.
And
you know what I mean?
Yeah, and I got to call out the actor, the boy in white, because how dare he grows up before the end of the series, and they got to make up reasons for the reason, explain why he's, gotten bigger. I mean, Christian Bale, he would have totally stayed, small. You know what I mean?
Well, one thing that I really like about what they did with this character is you see how they really sloped his shoulders down, like that is very I don't know, there's something about that shape that is extremely unassuming, in a way that just sort of is almost beguiling. It's crazy. This, I love this particular look. It was really, really, really good.
And that is, in fact, the same actor.
So let's talk a little bit about Boyd and Acosta.
Mm-hmm.
I want to get there.
Wait. That is the same actor.
I believe so. Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't see it yet. I didn't see any change in the cast name. Okay, so let's talk about Boyd and Acosta. Part of the reason that this particular piece is so fascinating to me is because I really do think that Acosta plays a role in what is to come. I don't know what role, but I feel like Boyd is trying to put her on the path of something, perhaps even unintentionally, where discovering something, some clue, some thread, some sleuthing ability that she has is about to come into play. And of course, I know what we see. We see Boyd wake up from his sleep, and he is absolutely afraid. I think that Acosta is mirroring the path that Abby went down, and he's trying at all costs to avoid that. He's very afraid of that. And Acosta is like, give me a bullet. This isn't what I didn't sign up for this. And of course, nobody signs up to be in From, but it's interesting to me that her way out is, of course, offing herself. And we know from Donna that also happens a bit. We heard that from her when she was telling somebody about Colony House, that that people do actually off themselves because the stress and the pressure are too much. So what do you think about Boyd giving her that quest of looking into everything that isn't useful? Find me what you can find here. What did you think about that?
Well, once again, I felt this way. I probably should have. I don't know if I've ever stated it on the show. I really feel like Boyd and her are gonna become romantically involved.
Really?
Yeah, I feel like kind of when she first came onto the show, it felt kind of like, she mirrors his wife. They have, I don't want to say they have they have a somewhat similar look, right? They're both blonde white girls,
True.
and both. I wasn't his wife. What does she do for a living?
She's a cop.
Cop.
Yeah. Which
No,
comes in
I'm saying it like the iron. The see.
Oh, right. I see. I get you.
Yeah, and I know she's meant to mirror his wife. I feel like that's why they brought her in. But then I also feel like, and we kind of got, because of course it's going to start off like a rom-com, right? They can't stand each other, and then bada boom, bada bing, bing, boom, and he's going to help her through her depression and blah blah, and then so I really feel like she's him and her. They're having a deep, profound moment right now, which is going to lead to them falling for each other. I'm calling it. I'm calling it.
All right.
I felt like that when she first came on, and I was like, "Oh, she's a cop." When I realized she wasn't going to get eaten up like everybody else, and I was like, "Oh, I see what she's. I see where they're going with this."
That could definitely be a very interesting twist. I don't know about that though. I feel like Acosta got brought in as sort of a not Boyd replacement, but Boyd's gonna be the one that's gonna kind of go crazy first. And
yeah, but before that, they're gonna hook up. He's got to hook up with somebody. Right. Come on now, he deserves.
All right, we'll see what happens.
You know what? I mean, if he dimmed the lights in the jail, and then all of a sudden some sax, some saxophone music started playing, I wouldn't have been surprised.
Okay. I mean,
He's not a priest or a monk.
I'll take your word for it. I don't think not Elgin. I don't think that Ellis will be very excited about that. But okay, we'll see.
He can't speak because he got him a woman. So
yeah, well, that's true. That is true.
So he's supposed to go without. I mean, it's been a while since he killed his mom.
Let's moving right along. Let's talk a little bit. Let's talk a little bit about Sophia in the diner after the the funeral. And I found this so interesting. I love the fact, of course, we don't really know what the end game is for the man in yellow, right? We have no idea what Sophia's actual purpose is. So when she's asking Kenny, of course she knows already. She knows the answer to every question she's asking because obviously she's witnessed everything. So for her to ask, oh, hey, when did things actually start to go bad? It was more of a, how can I find division, as opposed to tell me something that I don't know. And for her to turn around and tell that to Julie, that was kind of shocking, especially because if I were the man in yellow and my goal was to try to throw Julie off her game, it would be to stir some kind of doubt in her about what her purpose is, right? Because to be honest, I don't think that Julie is supposed to be able to story walk. Either Julie is some kind of crazy anomaly in this story, or she escaped. She escaped. And that's why she can story walk. I don't know how. Maybe she was supposed to be sacrificed and she didn't get sacrificed because she escaped. Or maybe there's something else, but honestly, I don't think that the story, that Fromville, if you will, accounted for her presence. I feel like that was completely and totally unaccounted for, and that's why the man in yellow is having such a difficult time with her. And that's also why Sophia confronts her in the diner with all of the unassuming hoo-ha of Sophia to say, isn't this when everything went bad when you guys got here? So what did you think of that?
First of all, I thought the way she did it was so slick, or the way he did it was so slick.
It was.
And then she could sit there. She's like, is that you throw your rock and then you hide your hands? you know, and so it made Julie look more crazier than her. And she's just sitting there like, I don't know what I said. Yeah, I don't know what I did. I thought that was brilliant from a storytelling aspect. And
Absolutely.
and basically, I feel like part of his agenda is to create fear and distrust, mistrust, and self doubt in people.
Yes.
Because look, when you start doubting yourself, it's really hard to come back from that. So,
Well, the idea that Julie goes to after this, after the funeral, the idea that she goes to get I'm sorry, to get Ethan's books about the Cromonocle and basically sort of setting up the foundational understanding of what the Lake of Tears actually is, or maybe not understanding the Lake of Tears, but understanding the story. Um, to me was really important because remember, if Julie is the one who can travel through the story, her understanding the story is probably more important than anybody else understanding the story, including Tabitha and Jade. Because it is quite clear that while Julie maybe isn't isn't able to change the story, she is absolutely physically able to interact with the story. So there's something to that which I haven't quite pieced together, but there is something to that. What this partnership between between Julie between Julie and Randall, what do you think about that? I mean, I have an idea, but what do you think about it?
Randall is that guy that you want to not to date your daughter. you know, um, I, I feel like I feel like they bring out something in each other.
I
You
think so
know,
too.
and I feel like she is definitely super drawn to him. You know, partly, he's a bad boy or whatever. That's part of it. But then also he does have heart to him that I think she sees. You know how it is, y'all ladies love these guys that are broken and all of that stuff. And
I don't. Honestly, I
makes
got
me
to tell
throw
you,
up, by the way.
I got to tell you, I don't think that Julie has any feeling like that toward Randall. I don't
You don't
catch
think
that.
that she has a
No,
romantic feeling towards him?
no, I don't. I think that they are. I think they are two. I think the two of them bring. I think you were right that they bring out something in each other. And I think Randall kind of catches it a little bit when he says, "Hey, you know what? Could you let me be the good guy for once, or the brave one for once, or whatever? It's good for my self-esteem." I think there's something to that line. Like he's
I
looking
believe
for
she is crushing on.
purpose.
She does
I don't.
crush on him. I
I
don't know
don't.
if it's gonna go anywhere, but I believe that she does.
Nah, I don't.
She kind of
I,
likes him.
but on
He's
the
the
other
kind of
hand,
guy. I'm telling you, he's the kind of guy that girls like her love.
I see him as being the older brother to a sibling
No, I'm
that
saying that may be where it never goes to that level, but there is a part. I think there is something in her that
you
is.
are just a romantic at heart and you just see romance in every
No,
single
I hate
interaction.
that. He's the kind of guy you should stay away from. I hate
I
it
don't
when women like the guys like that.
it's actually a little bit odd because in From, the only people that I see who have any kind of functional relationship that even seems anywhere near okay is Ellis and Fatima. And even that is obviously pretty strange, but they're the only people that have any kind of um anywhere near what I would consider to be a relationship status. Everybody else in this entire town that we have met so far, other than just sort of flashbacks with Abby and Boyd, they absolutely seem very distant from each other. And maybe the town actually does that to you. Like maybe the town sort of makes you feel that way.
Do you feel like Kenny and Sophia may have a little?
Again, I feel like this sort of goes back to the way that Kenny feels like he needs to protect somebody. He has been the way that Kenny has been treated throughout the show is he has been the center of everything that he has been lost. And I think it's actually to sort of set him up almost for this moment.
He's kind of
Because
like the Glenn of.
yes,
Hopefully, he
yes,
doesn't get beat to
yes.
death with a bat.
This is yeah, I'm glad Sophia wasn't named Lucille.
Right.
This whole thing feels to me like it is very much a Kenny journey to find someone to shepherd and protect. And of course, the ultimate irony in that is that he's trying to shepherd and protect the one person who he shouldn't be shepherding and protecting. But I feel like this is sort of for him to experience that sense of, I need somebody that I can feel like I pour my hopes into because everything else feels so hopeless. And nowhere was that more apparent than when Sophia tells Kenny, "What about living with Sarah?" And Kenny's first reaction is, maybe not. No, maybe that's not a bad, yeah, that's a terrible thing. Maybe that's just, and in the end, he relents not because he thinks anything better of Sarah, but because he's really trying to placate Sophia, right? I don't think that anything Sophia says about Sarah is going to all of a sudden change Kenny's mind about, oh yeah, of course she's a great person. She let the monsters in that killed my dad. I think she's wonderful. That was actually a big deal, I think.
Yeah, it was a huge deal. And what do you think the end game? Because must be a reason why the man in yellow, aka Sophia, wants to move in with Sarah. It must be. Remember, Sarah had her moments where she's seen certain things and tried to relate stuff. So, is there something about Sarah that he needs to get close to?
Well, we already know that Sarah is probably one of the. I guess maybe I would call her like a channel. She's like a medium for the town, the creatures in the town. Like, how do we know that it wasn't the man in yellow who wrote on her arm, "Kill the boy"?
Yeah.
It could very well be that the man in yellow has been kind of pushing Sarah along this whole way. And that to me doesn't feel exactly wrong. But also, I think we discount Sarah a little bit. And maybe it's intentional once again. Like, we need to see that Sarah is sort of just open and hospitable and everything is fine. But I think there's more to Sarah than we're actually seeing on the surface. I just get the impression that with everything that she has been through, I don't know if she is going to be as subservient as we think that she would be to the machinations of Sophia. That's just my opinion, but I guess we'll see where that goes. I don't know. We haven't really seen a bunch of Sarah in the past couple of episodes, so I'm a little bit unsure where we're going with Sarah at this point. So Boyd didn't. Well, he did play a big part, but let's talk about Boyd meeting up with Jade. So Boyd meets up with Jade, and he tells Jade, "Look, figure it out. Like, come on." Boyd's looking at Jade's wall of remembrance, right? Trying to figure out whatever this puzzle is to decode it. And at the same time that he wants him to figure it all out, he's also like, whatever you find out, we got to be ready for the consequences, because I'm pretty sure that message in the barn wasn't just whistling. This is real. This is very real, and we know that the consequences are huge. So I'm a little bit confused about Boyd's push to get Jade to remember more, and yet at the same time saying, but we also have to be ready for whatever happens. Like, okay, wait, which side of the fence do you want to run on here? What did you think about that scene?
Yeah, it seems like his talking about Boyd is his fuse is getting shorter.
Yeah, he's so conflicted this season.
Right, right. And his thing is like, get it done, get it done. You know what I mean? Like
Mm-hmm.
he doesn't really have he doesn't have a lot of patience. You know what I mean? And which
No,
I can understand, right?
yeah, yeah.
Time is now. But I thought the scene was pretty good. And it kind of sets up, both the acid, leads to the mushrooms, of course. And then I love that the scene of him meditating in the water.
Me too. He was using what did they call that place? I forgot what they called that place. Oh shoot.
It's on the screen.
My face. I know. My mind just went blank. But when Ethan is looking for the Lake of Tears, Victor says, "Let's go out to the Brundles. Brundles. That's the name of it." And or that's what he suggests is maybe the lake, and Victor even says, I don't really like to go there, whatever. But Jade is using that place as like an isolation chamber, like a sensory deprivation place to try to bring back whatever it is that he can't seem to remember. But of course, it doesn't work, and that's sort of how things get set up for him to be with Ethan and Victor as they are looking for the Lake of Tears. I have this feeling, and I don't know why, but I have this feeling that the Lake of Tears is the pool. I don't know why I think that, but I do. I think that the pool is the Lake of Tears, and there's a reason that it's always empty right now. First of all, it never rains in Fromville, which is bizarre.
It never rains in. Sorry.
It doesn't. But also, at least not that we've seen, but also that pool we know is where one of the bottle trees go, right? We know that if you enter the faraway trees, we know if you enter the faraway trees, you might end up in the bottom of that pool. There's something about that pool that makes me think we are going to get pulled back to it. And the moment that Ethan said, or the moment that Jim said, go find the Lake of Tears, I really believed that it was the pool all of a sudden. So I guess we'll chalk that up to one of Jen's crazy theories and see where that goes. But they're out looking for the Lake of Tears, and Jade is sort of on his walkabout quest trying to figure out what the heck they're all talking about when Victor comes across the man in yellow's yellow. And right. For all this time, Victor has convinced himself that the man in yellow was not real. And I think that he did that sort of in the way that you suppress trauma, not wanting to believe that whatever was the most scary thing that you've ever experienced actually was a thing, and then to be confronted by it. Man, I just gotta say, first of all, I know we've said this before, but the actor that plays Victor is so good. To experience that kind of fear, that deep down fear that is so big, that it's bigger than you, that you lose all control of your bodily functions, that's a real thing that actually happens to people. And he played that part so perfectly. Like, I absolutely wanted to crawl through the screen and comfort that person, because damn, and that was just such a big moment. So tell me what you thought about it.
Oh, I thought it was excellent. Yeah, I mean, that guy is a great actor, especially when you see that he is nothing like, when you see him and you realize that he is nothing like the character that he plays. He is. He's very good. That was a very good scene, and I thought he did an excellent job.
I am going to say, though, that I think it was absolutely purposeful that the man in yellow left his yellow out. Like, they have been so careful about everything that doesn't feel like something that he just
because he wants to sew. the seeds of mistrust.
Yes. Who among us is the man in yellow? If that is, that they like there is something to this forming here. And it yeah, that was actually really, really, really good. And of course, Ethan and Victor are like, I mean, Ethan and Jade are like, what's going on here? And they can't know what's happening because they haven't accessed Victor's mind. They don't know exactly what's going on there. And also remember the whole scenes in the cellar with the puppet, with the marionette. That was some of the scariest stuff in the series, and that all is happening to Victor. So yeah, it just, wow. I was blown away by that. I'm not exactly sure like what we are supposed to necessarily take from that, but much like every good story needs to have a shortcut to mushrooms, that is how we get the shortcut to mushrooms. And Jade looks down and finds the psychedelics that are on the ground. So good job, Jade, for finding that. I think that absolutely he's going to distill those down to some kind of psychedelic drug that, who knows? I mean, we'll see where that
Party
goes.
time.
Oof, man, I'll tell you, of all the things that I would do in Fromville, going on an acid trip is not one of them. Damn.
Yeah,
That
I've never
sounds
done
very
anything
scary.
like that, and I sure never do want to. All right, so yeah, that's going to be interesting to see, and then so he needed to go on that journey to find what he needed.
He did. It was the shortcut to mushrooms. Absolutely. I mean,
Right.
the reason I keep saying that is because that's a Tolkien. It's a Tolkien reference. It's a reference in the Lord of the Rings, the Fellowship of the Rings, when the hobbits are heading out, the Black Rider is chasing them, and the title for that particular chapter is a shortcut to mushrooms. And that absolutely is it. Victor finds the thing for the man in yellow, but conveniently right beside him is the actual thing that Jade needs in order to complete his quest.
Right. And so there's two things I think we should talk about briefly before we get on out. This one is what do you think Fatima and Elgin are up to?
I have no idea.
Okay, so it's not just me.
Even an inkling of an idea. Well, do you?
No idea. And it's interesting that that they would end up becoming cohorts of a sort.
Yeah.
After what happened, but it seems like she doesn't have ill will towards him, based on what ended up happening. And she feels, you could tell she feels sorry about what happened to him. So we'll see what's going on with the dirt. But I definitely wanted to throw that in.
Honestly, as life goals go, Fatima is one of the best people on the planet, just in terms of her temperament, her ability to come back, her love and care for other people. Man, she's just got it all. And obviously, yeah, her ability to work with Elgin, despite what Elgin did. And when they sat at the table and she specifically said to him, look, this place has taken advantage of both of us. That takes a really big person to be able to say that. Absolutely.
Right. All right. And then, of course, the last thing.
Yes. So the last thing is
Dun,
the
dun,
void
dun.
scene at Abby's
Evil
grave.
Dead.
Do we think that is okay?
I thought it was going to be a dream.
Yeah, kind
But
of.
then it ended on that, and I'm like, uh-oh.
We have seen that before. I mean, three things could be at work here. One, we do know that the creatures live underground. So, two, we know that Boyd has actually seen Abby before, since she's been dead in the spider webs. And three, Boyd is definitely losing his grip on something. And he says it right at Abby's grave. He says, I don't like what I'm becoming. And I don't know what any one of those three things. What do you have another? What do you think?
Yeah, I think that he's losing it. He's and it's messing with him, talking about the place, uh, even more so. You know what I mean? Like it's it seems to be attacking him in a way that it doesn't anyone else.
Is it does it have something to do with the cycle? Does it have something to do with, whenever you think you've moved on, something reaches up and pulls you back? Like
Yeah,
you can't
literally.
yeah, you can't escape your past. I mean, I hate to make metaphors so concrete, but in this show, yeah, the metaphors are very concrete.
Yeah.
That was really interesting to me. I liked the fact that Boyd stood up, looked down, and couldn't find a single hole in the ground.
Yeah.
So, and we know that something is also happening to Boyd. Let's not forget that in prior seasons, Boyd has said, "Hey, I something bad is happening to me," right? And he even has had the talk with, um, he's had the talk with basically everybody about, look, if things get too bad, uh, don't let me go crazy. Don't let me be crazy. And I feel like that was also an extension of what we saw last episode with him counting all the bullets and stuff. Like he, for him, things are really starting to get real
Yeah.
in a way that maybe they are real for everybody else, but just differently for Boyd. I don't know. I guess we'll see. Well, with that, I did really like this episode. I feel like we actually did get some fascinating peeks into the quests that season 4 sort of entails, what we're going to see. Oh wait, we got to talk about one more thing before we go. I'm sorry. We have to talk about Victor's dad and Tabitha at the bottle tree, because Tabitha wants to go through that bottle tree really bad to get to the lighthouse, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the boy in white, I mean, we talked about the boy in white saying, you're asking the wrong questions. But, it is so crazy. I never thought that Victor's dad would be such a threshold guardian. And in this case, remember what I was saying about the metaphor being real? A threshold guardian character is a character that prevents your main character from attaining its goals by either injecting doubt into them or creating some kind of barrier by which they then cannot move forward, because it's a test. It's a test of whether they actually mean it, whether this is actually the storyline that you want to go down, or maybe there's a fork in the road or whatever. And incarnate, Victor's dad is the threshold guardian, literally standing at the threshold. Joseph Campbell would be so proud of this scene in particular. I was absolutely sort of stunned by how real that was. And Tabitha, in all of her want to protect her kids, is ready to both A, throw everything away by just hopping into the tree to see if she can get back to the lighthouse, and B, saying at the same time, in almost the same breath, what am I supposed to do? Just give up and do nothing? I actually really love the fact that that is such a conflicted way that she sees what's happening. Like she's stuck. She can't go forward. She can't go backwards. What is she supposed to do? I thought that was great.
She said,
So
"What the f is she supposed to do?"
what? Yeah. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I thought it was interesting because remember, she's part of the reason. Well, she is the reason why he's there,
That's right.
and but he doesn't. He's not upset about it because he wanted to be with
Because
his
he got
son.
Victor back.
Yeah, but yeah, no, I think that that's a that's a very astute thing that you said about what's going on with her. But I don't know. I think he has a point that we don't know what's going to happen.
That's
You know what I
right.
mean?
That's right.
So,
and the boy in white actually, right, reiterates that and says, "You might not. Going through the tree is it that might not get you where you want to go."
yeah.
That was, yeah. I do actually
I
really
kind of
like
was wondering if he was just gonna go,
if
but
Victor's dead
yeah,
was.
for a minute. But then I was like, nah. The way he was talking about, no, don't go in there because what happened to the old dude? He was like, nah, he ain't going in there. And very smart.
Yes, I agree. I think that was very smart. I think the appearance of the boy in white is never a it's never a coincidence, and it's never a trivial moment in the story. His appearance is always super pivotal. It always means something's changing. So, yeah, that was actually really good. And I did really like the way that he said, even if it was just to the audience, you are asking the wrong questions. That seemed awesome. I did like that. All right. So, I enjoyed the episode. What are your final thoughts on it?
I'm looking forward. I think this next episode, when I saw the titles, I felt like this next episode is going to be the
Rattle
one
off the
that we're
next title for us.
of myths and monsters.
Of Myths and Monsters, right?
Yeah.
Well, I guess we will see what happens in the next episode. I am hoping that we get a little bit more of everybody kind of inching away at what their final destinations are, because
Hey, that's a good movie.
yeah. Yeah. I do. I seriously hope that we move things forward a little bit. I also, just from a conspiratory kind of point of view, I also hope that Sarah does not succumb to Sophia's machinations, because the two of them could be very deadly together. So,
Oh, for sure.
yeah. We'll see.
She's killed more people than the man in yellow.
I mean, at this point, yeah, we should not underestimate Sarah's not power, but her ability to sort of ignore what seems to be reality in favor of the hope that somehow she can change it. So I guess we'll see what happens. All right. This has been great. Kinte, thank you for joining me. You can catch me not really on social media, but hanging out on our newest podcast, the pilot season cartoon edition, which we are having so much fun with, and that we do every Wednesday. I really enjoy it a lot. I am relaunching my website, moviesmakethemeal.com, which hopefully will be back up pretty soon, and that's sort of that's my platform. Kinte, how can we find you on social media, and what do you have coming up?
You can get me at Kinte Ferguson Kinte Ferguson on Instagram. That's KINTEFERGERSON. And also, like you said, pilot season's coming up Wednesday. We will be reviewing Thundercats and also Robot Chicken pilot as well on 2 separate episodes. We do 1 per episode, but we'll be putting out 2 episodes on Wednesday. So looking forward to that. And the feedback I've been getting is really solid. So I'm very happy about people who have listened to the show have enjoyed it. And, we'll be doing more. And then the regular pilot season will be coming out in a week or so. So, we'll be doing that as well. So,
nice.
It's going to be a lot of fun. But I'm so I'm very excited that this season is back and looking forward to it. And then we'll be doing the countdown to the finale, the series finale. So, it'll be great and it'll be bittersweet. I don't want to talk about it too early, but yeah. I mean, in 2 episodes will be 15. Countdown 15, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah. But with that said, we'll catch you next week with an all-new episode.
We'll look forward to it.
Bye.
Thank you for listening to Season 4 of Talking From. Next time, we head into Episode 4 of Myths and Monsters, originally airing on May 10, 2026 in this chapter. An ominous discovery puts Boyd and his trusted circle on high alert. Julie searches for a way to harness her newfound abilities, and Sarah is once again tortured by the voices in her head. The mystery is deepening, the pressure is building, and the town is only getting darker. We'll be back to break it all down on the next episode of Talking From Season 4. Presented by Indy Radio.